We are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the quarterfinals of the Olympic Sevens. This one, New Zealand versus South Africa. Now, we have already seen these two sides play each other throughout this competition. In that one, New Zealand getting themselves the win, 17 points to 5. The Kiwis, they are undefeated at the moment in this competition. 3 wins from 3. South Africa, the only side in the quarterfinals to have suffered 2 losses at this stage. But both sides find themselves in the exact same boat here. It doesn't matter about form up till this point. You have to win this performance. We have got in there, what time does it start? Says William Moses. The game does kick off in 10 minutes time. We have got, here we go, Blitzboks says LFG. And also a bit weird that South Africa were in our group, have lost twice and are now in the quarterfinals. That is the way that the Sevens work though. If you are the best ranked third place team, you go through. If you are the second best third ranked team, you do go through. And South Africa getting themselves a big win over the Japanese. I believe it was about 49-5 in their last game, which did lead them to this opportunity. Now, they do come in as underdogs for this matchup. That is due to the games that we have seen already. South Africa defeated by Ireland, defeated by New Zealand. But their last game up against Japan, I think, showed a lot of potential. And if they can keep their hands on the ball, retain the kickoffs like they did up against Japan, then we could be in for a high-scoring game. But looking through at this New Zealand starting lineup, it will be Scott Curry, Dylan Collier, Fihi Finina-Norfolk. I'm a little bit concerned about that man in the starting side, only because his discipline has been letting him down over the last couple games. Andrew Newstub, he had a crucial turnover up against the Irish in their last match. Moses Leo, Leroy Carter, and also Joe Webber, who was added in due to the injury of Regan Ware. At the moment, they're saying Regan Ware, he is resting his shoulder and might be back for the final day of Sevens action for South Africa. They have got Ryan Oosterhuizen. He is another player similar to Fihi Finina-Norfolk, who might be a little bit ill-disciplined at times in this game. Could end up costing the side. Impi Vesa in the starting lineup alongside Zane Davids for the big forwards of the South Africans. Then Tristan Lades, Selvin Davids, who will be the captain for the Blitzboks, Roscoe Speckman, 2 men with extreme pace, and then Shilton van Wyk there as the last player in the starting side. My gosh, I need a coffee, just woke up, says a doctor there, box supporter, but my head says ABs, says Sakabula. And also we have got there, hey Hamish, I saw your preview of this match, and I don't know why, but you always make me so excited for these such games in Sevens. This is going to be a very, very close game, but I say South Africa by 5, says Marnus. And yeah, I have that same feeling of a very close game between these two teams. I think that both have shown that when they are in form and when they are playing great Sevens, they can score a lot of points. New Zealand haven't conceded a huge amount of tries throughout their campaign so far. I believe a total of maybe 5. Whereas South Africa, they've conceded a couple more along the way at times. Score prediction, mine in the preview was 21-19. Now, I did say New Zealand, but I honestly think it could be 21-19 to the Blitzboks as well. I do see us possibly having a few tries amongst these two sides, though, for this match. Looking through at the benches for the two sides. Brady Rush, Tony Nashu, he has had quite the impact already. Akulia Rokalisoa with plenty of speed and a step to match. Tapaya Cook-Savage and Sione Molia, the last man for the All Black Sevens. For the South Africans, it will be Christy Grobela, Tian Pretoria, Sean Williams, Saviwe Soyers-Wapi. They've only been using him very briefly throughout the Sevens competition. And Ronald Brown there as the number 13. But this game not too far away, ladies and gentlemen. Julian Moses said Box can win. I think both of these sides are more than capable of not just winning this, but actually, if they have 3 good performances, they are capable of winning the whole Olympics competition. We've got to remember, it doesn't matter so much as to what has happened up till this stage. The main thing was to get through to the quarterfinals, and both of these sides have been able to do just that. So, from here, it doesn't matter if you won all your games in the group stage, or if you lost all your games in the group stage. The win that matters is this quarterfinal. And if you get yourself the win, you're moving on to the semis to face either Argentina or France. That is the next quarterfinal. That one is going to be an entertaining game. Plus, there is also a game after that, Fiji versus Ireland, followed by Australia versus USA. That is for the other side of the draw. And Uruguay versus Kenya has gone into extra time. Says Fleshin. I believe it has, yes. They have just kicked off for extra time. Whoever wins that game will go on to face the Samoans. South Africa to take it. New Zealand look a bit bumpy in the last 2 games, says Namanu. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because New Zealand, they've looked bumpy, but they've got wins. And South Africa, day one, I feel like it was almost the opposite. They looked bumpy. They had very good opportunities to win, but then they unfortunately did suffer those losses. But then they came out today, which was absolutely massive for them. The way that they played up against Japan, they looked like a whole new side. And if they can match what they did in that game up against New Zealand, yes, it might not be 49 points again, but it will certainly be a few tries being scored, I would say. Hamish, have you slept at all? That's a great question. I got like 2 hours sleep between, I think it was between maybe 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. last night, so about 8 hours ago. But then before then, my previous sleep was like the day before, I think. What's up, buddy? Can New Zealand, as favourites here to advance to the semis? They are indeed the favourites, but as we know in sevens, favourites, of course, is one thing, but then when the game takes place, it can completely change the outcome. South Africa Sevens need to spend a week with Rassi. Says Polly Bear. And also, how's it? Looking forward to this encounter. Your team got us in the first round, but now we'll show you how it can be done, says Clinton. And there as well. And yeah, this is going to be an absolutely awesome game. I wish it was a semi or maybe even the final, but the fact that it is the quarters just tells you the amount of talented sides that are taking part in this sevens competition. It's time to shine to the Blitzboks. Show them, says Taylor Hendricks. And there as well. And I guess this is a little bit of a prelude of what we will see in the UFC in about a month's time. It's going to be Israel Adesanya taking on Dricus du Plessis. Interestingly enough, in the rugby union side of things, both sides having their champions or their respective fighters at the Rugby Championship, the July International Games. Dricus giving a bit of a speech while holding his UFC title. He's going to be defending it in Perth. Of course, we're going to get to see a League of Sevens in Australia as well coming up in the near future. Every leg after the Olympics, we will be covering on the channel once again, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But we are only moments away from the start of this contest. Uruguay versus Kenya has gone to extra time, so it will be a little bit longer. I think Uruguay just tried a banana kick and they actually just kicked it straight dead, which is not ideal. Addicted to your show. How's it from Cape Town? Awesome commentary as always. Go the Bok. Says Herman Kutzia. And there as well, how many medals are there for grabs in the rugby in this Paris Olympics? So there is bronze, silver, and gold. Last Olympics, Argentina got the bronze, New Zealand got the silver, Fiji got themselves the gold medal. In this competition, if you make it through to the semi-finals, I guess you're at a 75% chance of getting yourself a medal of some sort. So that is the goal for both of these sides. Whoever wins this game will have a chance at a medal. Whoever loses this game, they will still get a chance to play off in fifth place playoff games, but they won't get the medal on the board. I'm South African. Most of us obviously want to win, but to lose to New Zealand is not a catastrophe. Great respect for New Zealand and its decent, humble people, says Jean. And I love when these two sides play off because there is that mutual respect out there on the field. And you can tell between the players as well that they both know that on any given day, either of the sides can win. And that's why they have to be so clinical. And that is why they have to take every opportunity that they get. It looks like Kenya are going to win in extra time up against Uruguay, ladies and gentlemen. So they will be facing the Samoans, a rematch of a matchup that we did see not too long ago. Of course, I should mention the semi-finals, they don't actually take place tomorrow. They actually take place the day after. That is due to the opening ceremony. So we've got to remember, for these players, they are used to playing 2 games on one day, 2 games on another, and then the finals the day after. These players are going to have a whole extra about 24 hours or so to think about that semi-final. Think about the gold medal on the line on that day. And that will either make or break some teams. So I'm curious to see what kind of impact having a day off will actually cause for these 7 sides as well. Sevens is bizarre. The favourite can easily lose, just like T20 cricket, says Albert. Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's 14 minutes. A game of 80 minutes of rugby, normally if you're having a bad start and you're the favourite, you can come back, you can start to find your momentum and you can right those wrongs. Whereas in sevens, if you make a couple mistakes in a first half, you go down 14-0, there's not a lot of time in that second half to be able to get back into that game. You've only got the 7 minutes. And if the opposition are having more of the possession, like it can happen in sevens, you can have 6 minutes and a half where the opposition has the ball and you just can't get it. You're getting penalised. And that could happen in this game. These two sides both have the capabilities of ball retention and hanging on to it for multiple minutes in a row. And it's whether or not they will be patient enough to wait for that opportunity to open up, or whether they are going to try and rush it. South Africa, I believe, will be more likely to put a kick in behind if they see maybe not a lot of space opening up, whereas New Zealand, I think they're more likely to do that jogging that they do around that halfway line, how they just kind of dawdle, waiting for that next gap, and then they'll throw themselves at the line. Unlucky there, Uruguay, they have looked okay. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them on the circuit next year. I feel like they have more than held their own throughout this competition. Good luck, Hamish, says Nate Dogg. How these games happening before the Olympics has not started. It starts on the 26th of July. I think it is just down to how long the competition or the Olympics are. The football's currently taking place. I know that the archery, I think they've been doing some of the qualifications. Will there be women's sevens? There will be. They start on Monday here in New Zealand. So I believe Sunday night or Sunday afternoon for you guys in South Africa. We have got there, let's go to the box. Are you going to show the game? Sadly, due to licensing, any match footage or audio gets you taken straight off YouTube. I will mention, though, you won't be able to find the game on YouTube just because YouTube are very strict, definitely around the Olympics. In terms of any footage gets shown, they copyright strike you, you get banned for 3 months. But I would recommend, in terms of if New Zealand go far in the competition, I would definitely recommend subscribing to Sky Sport New Zealand on YouTube and also maybe the All Blacks YouTube channel, because you will be able to catch the highlights of New Zealand's games on there, including this match, I should mention. So even if you can't watch it live, you will actually be able to watch the highlights of it when it does go up on Sky Sport New Zealand. So that is one bonus of New Zealand doing well in this competition, is we will actually be able to watch those games on YouTube as the competition progresses. So that is one of the main reasons I would say a lot of people want to see New Zealand make it through to the final to take on someone like a Fiji, because in that way they do actually get to see it on YouTube. We have got there. Will you also cover other sports where New Zealand participates, such as hockey and rowing? I'm not too sure yet. I think it will depend on how busy work is. It's a lot more busy than I expected it to be. I'm pouring concrete in 3 hours' time. So, throughout the night, women's seven, says Johan. Once again, like I said, it's going to be starting on Monday or Sunday, depending on whereabouts you are in the world. But the men's competition happens first, then they do the women's competition on the Monday, like I said. We have got there the Bok, says Nicola there. And also for me, South Africa has the most momentum coming into this game, coming off a huge controversial win for them against Japan just to get to this stage, says Manus in there as well. And yeah, it's going to be an important one, because at the end of the day, South Africa, this is their chance to right those wrongs from day one. They've had one win from one so far on day two, and that is the beauty of sevens as well. All of a sudden, you can have a bad day, you come back the next day, you play your best rugby that you've ever played. And, of course, I'm not saying that happened in the game up against Japan. I'm saying that they had a very good showing. And another South Africa versus New Zealand duel. Fan freaking tastic. Asking your opinion, would rugby be as big as it is without sevens? Is that Herman, or without the rivalry between these two sides? When will it start, says LFG. They are on the field at the moment. New Zealand are just about to receive the kickoff from South Africa, who were able to retain a majority of their kickoffs up against the Japanese. But the countdown is on, ladies and gents. We are here and we are ready for this quarterfinal of the Olympics. New Zealand versus South Africa. Selvin David's just taking a moment. Taking a very long moment, in fact. He is just having a few deep breaths, soaking in the atmosphere, already getting booed. And that is going to be beautifully taken by New Zealand with Andrew Newstub. There's going to be a lot of physicality between these two sides. Loose pass from New Zealand. Scott Curry has to clean it up. They are inside of their 22 at the moment, and it's a big run from Curry. Tristan Lades trying to get into the breakdown and looking for the turnover. New Zealand win themselves the penalty for side entry. Leroy Carter wants to take this one quickly. New Zealand have numbers on this left-hand side. Wide cut-out pass gone through the hands of Newstub. Now, I will mention there was a little bit of rain falling for Samoa in their contest up against the Japanese. I believe there was also a little bit of rain falling for Uruguay versus Kenya, so the ball is a little bit slipperier than it was earlier on in the day, something that both of these sides will have to adapt to. And I woke up early for this. And also, they all look nervous, says Lilia B. And come on, guys, do it for the millions of South Africans, says Taylor. Hi, Hamish, do you feel like New Zealand has a bigger advantage in this game? It's 9:05 in South Africa. I still have to go to work tomorrow watching with y'all, says as Lizo. I mean, New Zealand have the record in terms of the wins that they've had so far throughout the competition in their favour. But South Africa, I would say, have more momentum from that win up against the Japanese. This ball is hard to hang on to by the looks of it. Both sides making frantic mistakes here, but nice offload to Andrew Newstub. It's going to be tackled on the halfway line. Roscoe Speckman, that is a tackle, so they do have to release on the halfway line now for New Zealand, but that surface moisture actually looks like it's a little bit more than first anticipated. Fihi Finianofo trying to go through. Rhino stays and joining the breakdown. Like it was almost a neck roll there as well. They've got to be careful doing that. South Africa have no chance. There's Christian. I would disagree. I feel like anytime these two sides play, that is a forward pass from New Zealand. Yeah, anytime these two sides play, it can easily go either way. The ball seems slippery, says Lilia B. Yep, that little bit of moisture falling before this game has certainly caused a little bit of hesitancy from both sides. Why don't they have 4 groups and just the top 2 going through? That would have made more sense. I don't know whether it was like an accommodation thing or whether they were told that they didn't want so many games, because of course with this format you have less games per day. Maybe that works into the Olympic schedule. But yeah, 16 teams makes everything easy, because then you don't have to worry about points differential getting sides through to the next stage, if that makes sense. They can instead be whoever's got the most wins then makes their way through. Sullivan Davids going off to the right-hand side now for the South African. Shilton Van Wyk. Great hands from him. Inside border. Roscoe Speckman. New Zealand having to drag him down, but Tristan Laves receives the offload. Another offload coming for Shilton Van Wyk. Ryan Oosthuizen going off to the right-hand side. Sullivan Davids now attack and run from that man. He's gone straight through and he scored the first try of the match for the South Africans. Great start to the contest for the Blitzboks. Sullivan Davids making the most of the opportunity. He's in the middle of the field, knew that if he ran at the line, New Zealand would drift, and Curry saw it as well, but he was too far away to do anything about it. And calm New Zealand, says Blues Nate. I like trying to grab a greased pig, says it was there from Augusta. Knockout rugby games are much more fun than group games. Hey man, I have no idea that you are live streaming, but I did miss anything. Samoa have a game. Did they win? So Samoa did win, so they will go head-to-head with Kenya now. Don't think momentum against Japan counts for anything when you take on the All Blacks. I mean, that start from South Africa, I think, would tell you otherwise, because they have been able to go out there and, similar to what they did up against the Japanese, they found the gap in New Zealand's defensive line. I'm just going to keep quiet after my bad call, says Christian Kutsia. And Ireland got long way to catch up, says Manu. Currently 3 minutes remaining in the half. Once again, Sullivan Davids taking some deep breaths, wanting to play this one at a methodical pace in terms of his kickoffs. That was close to the touchline. Leroy Carter, his foot was in touch. He's frustrated. He thought he was away for the try, and he would have been. No one was catching him. Just the toe on the touchline. Ruben Keane spots it. And that is now going to be another line out here coming for South Africa, who have got themselves a nice handy lead at the moment in this match. 7 points to 0 in playoff rugby can be extremely handy. Sullivan Davids now to throw this ball in. Goes into the back, stolen by New Zealand, but they've been trapped inside of their 22 at the moment. They need to get their passing right. Joe Weber puts it on the outside to Moses Leo. Looked for the offload. Found Leroy Carter. He's got plenty of pace and he's going to pin his ears back. Gets his offload away. I think Weber was tackled a bit early there from Ryan Oosthuizen. Shilton Van Wyk having a hard time regathering that ball and will boot it downfield into touch. Okay, he's fine because there's no tackle, they have said. Here's Joe Weber flying through. Oh, Ryan Oosthuizen's probably pretty lucky there that he didn't end up getting penalised for the slightly early shot. Now, it was only a split second, so it could have gone easily either way. But Shilton Van Wyk, decent clearing kick from inside of his 22. He's not happy with it, but he had to get that ball out of the field of play. New Zealand now have got themselves the line out 30 metres out from South Africa's line. Nicely claimed by Scott Curry. Newstub goes across to Leroy Carter. Seems like a real X-Factor player here for New Zealand. The switch. Curry on the short side. Does get round 2. It's going to be tackled well. Sullivan Davids loses his footing. Dylan Collier back to his feet to keep that ball. Leroy Carter now. He's going to pass it one more on the outside to Newstub, who cuts back in through Lades, but it's knocked on by Carter. And I think Newstub could have gone himself. But once again, Tristan Lay's defence has proven awkward. Foot race, Selvin Davids against Dylan Collier. It looks like he's going to be able to win the foot race. Or does he? Oh, he jumps on the ball, gets the offload to Lades, and it's another one for the South Africans. New Zealand blew one down the other end. South Africa have capitalised and got themselves one down this end. We missed Gislin Colby, Steps and Sevens. Need a spark in the South Africa side again. There are loads of young guns that can fire away. Need more young players for South Africa. What a try, says Lilia B. And why you pass Silly Boys, says Blues. United Springboks versus All Blacks. It's just something special, says Dan. And how many games have I missed? You've missed quite a few, to be honest. We've had games all throughout today, but brilliant work from Selvin Davids. He is single-handedly picking apart New Zealand at the moment. And Tristan Lades, he gets the reward, but I think what he will want to forget was the fact that he was almost the reason down the other end that they could have conceded. And Boxby Rhinos in disguise, hard as efforts come on the box. Says Warren there. But they will be leading now 14 points to 0. And it's almost half-time. Come on, New Zealand, get into gear. And New Zealand are tired, says Namanu. And our boys are skittish, says a Doctor. And Lades, an exciting player to watch, says Hillary. And is game done for New Zealand, or can they come back within the game of sevens? There is always the potential of coming back, but they would need to score in this first half, I believe, to have their best chance. They are deep inside of their own 22. If they can see now, it could be game over. Fihi Finian-Norfolk puts the ball on the outside to Curry. New Zealand looking very hesitant to attack here from inside of their own 22, looking for that next gap. They're relying heavily on Leroy Carter to get it right. Gets the ball on the outside to Dylan Collier. Tackled by Impeviso, tries to hold him up for a rolling maul on the halfway line now for New Zealand. They're 50 seconds past the halftime siren. Tom Curry, another drop ball, this time Fihi Finian-Norfolk. He has dropped it backwards. Ryan Oosterhuizen trying to hold him up. Crawling over the top of the breakdown. I don't think he's supporting his body weight there, and once again the penalty magnet has struck for Ryan Oosterhuizen. And when South Africa wins, you have to play your Chilele, says Rudy there, and another Olympics down the pan, and Milner there, Doctor, is game for New Zealand done. Now, 20 metres out from the line. Not looking good for New Zealand. It's not. They haven't had the best start in this contest, but if they are to start coming back into it now, who knows how this game could end. It looks like Tony Nashu is not too far from making his way onto the field, perhaps at the start of the second half. Probably the best half played by the Blitzboks so far at the Olympics. And that's why I said they lost 2 games in the group stage, but you cannot underestimate this South African side, because when they are in playoff rugby, it changes. Something clicks in their mind and the way that they play, and they can change a game in an instant. But New Zealand, they are now attacking from 30 metres out. They have blown 2 try opportunities so far. Joe Weber with the offload round, wide cut-out pass. Gets it out to Moses Leo. Breaks around the outside. And it's going to be the try for New Zealand. A little bit high from Impivisa in the follow-through, but New Zealand gets the try. And they will be back into this contest heading towards the halftime break. I love this guy, says Anthony, in there as well. Anyone who is new, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It is greatly appreciated you all being here for this contest. At the moment, the way that it sits, South Africa are $1.62 favourites, ladies and gentlemen. New Zealand, the underdogs, going into the second half. I'm surprised, says Thais LaRue. And how many players are playing in this who played Rugby World Cup final? None at all for these two sides. New Zealand, they needed the try late in the first half, and that is exactly what they were able to do from 31 metres out. The kick has just snuck over the post. Half-time in this game, 14 points to 7 in this quarter-final. It can easily go either way in the second half, ladies and gentlemen. Although if South Africa are the first to score, that might be just what they need to secure the victory. Now, whoever wins this game will be facing off against the winner of the next contest, Argentina versus France. It's going to be a massive one. Is there a Sevens Rugby World Cup? There is indeed. It did take place in Cape Town most recently, I believe last year it was. And maybe we should have dropped that game versus Ireland to avoid South Africa, says David Lim. Having a beer for the Strefs. Going to be close though. Might be 28-21 to South Africa. My heart is pumping. How's your nerves, says Eslelo? We're doing pretty well at the moment. It might be the sleep deprivation as well, as I think we've tried our best to call this one down the middle. Hopefully it is relatively impartial. I feel like both of these sides, no matter what happens here, are worthy contenders of a semi-final. and both are deserving of a medal if they are able to get the victory here. No matter what's happened in the group stage, like I said, all you have to do in these matches is get yourself the one-off wins. And that is what South Africa are striving and trying to get. Currently 14 points to 7 up. We have got there New Zealand making things hard for themselves. They'll take this game. Says Broderick 4. It did seem like they were the slower to adjust to the wet conditions. Seemed like South Africa straight away knew what they had to do. But then saying that, Selvin Davids did have the early handling error. That was the only mistake we have seen. We have got there owner boss box of your second team. Are you calling it fair quality, boss? Says Warren. And there as well. And now New Zealand, they will be kicking this one off. South Africa haven't quite been able to retain their kickoff like they did in that game up against Japan. Are New Zealand going to opt for the short kickoff here or try and take it deep into Blitzboks territory? Well, the veterans on the field at the moment. Tony Nashu was warming up earlier on. Now it begins the nerve, says Daniel Davids, but it's Andrew Newstub who is getting ready to kick this one off. They're going to go high and deep into the 22. Tristan Lades takes it well, and great low tackle made from Joe Weber. Counter-ruck coming from New Zealand, but they can't get the ball. Roscoe Speckman now passes back across to Selvin Davids, who has to kick it from inside of his 22 due to the pressure from New Zealand. New Zealand picking it up on the halfway line for the All Blacks Sevens. Andrew Newstub waiting for his next passing option. Curry under pressure there. He's dropped the ball as well. And South Africa are going to have themselves another scrum feed here. Changing my mind, South Africa has no chance to 10% chance of winning, says Christian. I wonder if the breakdancing is going to get 3 sellout days of 69,000, says Flesh in there. And come on, New Zealand, says Valerie, and Blitzboks playing much better. I mean, they talked about it, how if the Sevens are sold out on every single day, they can almost have 500,000 people in attendance for the whole weekend or the whole week of Sevens, which is absolutely insane. When you talk about the Olympics being one of the biggest stages that these Sevens competitors get the opportunity to be on, with numbers like that, it is very hard to deny it. And come on, New Zealand, says Valerie there. Currently 6 minutes remaining. Joe Weber has been taken from the field. Come on, Curry, after 25 years of professional rugby, you should still not be scared of rush defence. Little chip behind from Tristan Lades. New Zealand having a chase. And Shilton van Wyk has knocked it on. It was almost there on a platter for him, but he wasn't able to hang on to it. It was a knock on by the South Africans, a scrum feed there. Just see the replay. Did New Zealand knock this one back? No, in the end, the first hand got to it was Shilton van Wyk. Yeah, I don't know what would have happened if Fihi Finianofo had got to that first. I believe that would have been counted as a deliberate knockback. Probably would have been a 5-metre scrum for South Africa rather than New Zealand. Go Sevens Blitzboks, says Rudy. But that was a moment of inches right there for South Africa. If that one stuck to his hand, that gives them a 14-point lead. But because it didn't, still keeps that 7-point lead with 5 minutes remaining. Let's go New Zealand. Hold the ball, please, says Tyrone. Fiji will win the Olympics, says Cameron Kay. But now going off to the right-hand side here for New Zealand. Brady Rush has just flattened Tristan Lades. But he's coming back across Shilton van Wyk. Tell you what, South Africa tackling round the chest here. They are trying to get that ball and lob it free. Good tactics in the wet conditions. But New Zealand holding on to that ball extremely tightly. They do not want to let it go. Here comes Fihi Finianofo. It's going to be a foot race. Gets rid of Selvin Davids. But he's tackled there. 22 metres out. Curry going to the right-hand side. Back across Collier. And it seems like New Zealand are in no hurry here. Instead, just going to try and find that gap. Big fem from Brady Rush. South Africa offside. And they'll go back for the penalty advantage. Oosterhuis installs it in the breakdown. I love the 7 stress games, and it might be an upset here for New Zealand. Although the thing is, it's an upset for New Zealand now, but at the start of the match, South Africa were $5 underdogs. They weren't given much of a shot in this game. Whereas now, completely different. South Africa tackling like the under-9s grade. Yeah, one thing that we do have to criticise of Tristan Lades, don't get me wrong, great on attack, but the man has missed more tackles than anyone else. Oh, Ryan Oosterhuis acting like he was going to punch Brady Rush on the ground. I feel like he's going to cost them this game if they're not careful. They need to take Ryan Oosterhuis off the field, to be honest, because he has already given away 2 penalties. He's tried to give away another one there in the breakdown. I think if South Africa are smart, they will take that man off the field, or else it could end up costing them this contest. He's too fiery at this stage in a final as well. That is when you need your experienced players to be cool, calm, and collected, but he's more than likely going to whack one of the New Zealanders illegally here and get a yellow card if he's not careful. Tristan Lades will make his way off the field, so will Impiviso, who's got a shoulder injury. That may be the only thing that keeps Ryan Oosthuizen on the field. Like they've said, not too often you see Impiviso showing any signs of injury or pain. But Christy Hrubala now on the field for him, and Ronald Brown on the field for Tristan Lades. But New Zealand have got themselves the scrum feed from just inside of the South African 22. They will go for the scrum. Akulia Rokalisoa going to Leroy Carter. Big shot there in off his feet. Ryan Oosthuizen once again losing his footing. Jumps on top of Akulia Rokalisoa. Good ball security from New Zealand. Tony Nashu. Some quick stepping. 5 metres short of the line again. Round the side. Leroy Carter. He's going to be held up 1 metre out. Akulia Rokalisoa looking both ways. Is he going to back himself? No, he will go off to Moses Leo. Brilliant line defence there from South Africa. Almost the turnover for Roscoe Speckman, but he just couldn't quite get their hands on it. Now it's going to be Leroy Carter. A slip coming there in through the side for South Africa in the breakdown. Knockdown. It's going to be a knock-on against New Zealand there, though. Wow. That is a big call right there. I think Akulia Rokalisoa is saying, how can he join from the side of the breakdown and knock the ball out? We're going to see this breakdown again. There he is, in through the side from Selvin Davids. The ball pops out. That is a massive call, but South Africa, they will be thanking their lucky stars that that one's gone their way. Not through the gate at all. Massive moment in this game. Good defence, says Blues Nate. And brilliant defence, keep at it, boy, says Daniel there. And 2 minutes left, says Jessica. Yeah, currently 2.5 minutes remaining in this contest. Bad call by the rest, says Christian Kutsia. The Ryan Oosthuizen, and he's yelling at someone else now. And we have got their Brogy energy on that call. Felt like Iskim. Oh, okay, he's been taken off the field now, and it's going to be for Tian Pretorius. 2.5 minutes remaining in this one. South Africa just out from their own line. Good game, good come back for the Blitzboks. Bad call, but go the box. Says Anthony in there as well. At the end of the day, they can only play to the whistle. So they will take that one. They will now look to run this one out. Although, in fact, they're going to kick it from inside of their own 22. I believe that's about the third kick we have seen from them. Oh, Moses Leo. He had some really dodgy handling there, but he's managed to regather the ball. New Zealand are inside of their 22, and they are being shut down here by the South African defence. Moses Leo, though, gets through. St. David's gets the ankle tap. It's a 2-on-1 now for Tupaia. Cook Savage, next pass. Akulia Rokalisoa. He will be tackled again. Has to get back up to his feet. He's played the ball on the ground. It should be South Africa's ball, and they have got it back anyway before receiving the penalty in the breakdown. Balls come out the side, and that is a legal play from New Zealand, pulling the ball back. And what a surprise. A call going the way of the box says, and South Africa for the 28. And very average performance by New Zealand. Yeah, out of all their games, this has probably been the worst that they've played, and they've chosen the worst time to do so. But South Africa's defence in this game, Shilton van Wyk, brilliantly done. Like they've said there, Akulia Rokalisoa not back on his feet, and then he does actually grab at that ball. So that should have been a penalty in the first place to South Africa, but they have got one for something different. And huge surprise here for this Irishman at that score. Just a few things used that can make a male that aggressive, says Albert. And yes, says LFG. But how we like a game like this playing out, says Warren. South Africa kicking this one for the touchline. They have got 55 seconds left with a 7-point lead. If New Zealand scores soon, more than likely we will go to golden point time if it is successful. If not, though, the Blitzboks, they will advance to the semi-final and knock out last competition silver medalist New Zealand from the Olympics game. The veteran players on the sideline watching on, almost with their hands over their eyes. It's thrown in, not claimed by these South Africans. New Zealand take it back, and they need a try right now. 25 seconds remaining. South Africa's defence has not budged throughout this whole game. Savue Sawyers Wapi now on the field. New Zealand going to do it, or are South Africa going to take on either France or Argentina, two sides that they have unfinished business with from this season of the Sevens. 15 seconds remaining. Tupaia cooks Savage close to the touchline. Offloads up, gives it to Savue. Sawyers Wapi. Tiam Pretorius, he's got the ball. He kicks it into touch, and South Africa have beaten New Zealand, and they will go through to the... Oh, I thought Ryan Estays was about to fight Tristan Lades there, but he went over to him and just gave him a big shove in the back as if to say good job. But they are fired up. 2 losses in their group stage against an undefeated New Zealand. New stubbers in tears. South Africa are on the verge as well, but they are going to make their way through to the semi-finals. Savue says Kristen Kutsia, and good job Blitzboks says Blues Native. Well done Blitzboks says Lauren in there as well. But a massive performance from the South Africans. Their defence, something that could win them this competition. Because throughout this game, New Zealand, as much as they tried, they only budged it once. South Africa, the 14 points on the board. The 2 early tries, the Selvin Davids masterclass in the first half. The difference between these two Olympic sides. So New Zealand now, they will face the loser of France versus Argentina. The winner of that game facing the Blitzboks in the semi-final, but you can see the heartbreak for New Zealand. You can see the heartbreak it looks like for South Africa. I feel like they needed this win because a lot of people already were writing them off. Some people didn't even know they made it to the quarterfinals after those first 2 losses. But they were there. They were the 8th ranked team, and they have got potential of going as the 8th ranked all the way to number 1. They continue playing like that. We have got the Woo the Bok says sorry. And also we have got the How with the Box on side with that intercept. Says Joe Bowen, well done the Box, says Bridget. As well as congrats, not 28 but scrappy and poor handling and decision making from New Zealand. Says Scrumptious, I should say. And also very respectable and unbiased commentary, mate, good on you. Says Travis, and yeah, we are going to be covering a lot more of the Olympics in the future, ladies and gentlemen. We are still covering the next 3 games that are taking place. France versus Argentina, Ireland versus Fiji, as well as the next game after that one that will be taking place. It will be the contest between USA and Australia. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We are back for the next game now between Argentina and France. So I will see you all for the next one.